in India, you can see what's happening in South Africa, you can see what's happening in Nigeria. So that begins to impose huge challenges. So to bring it back to AFRICAST, that's one of the things that we took away, that the ways of doing business, broadcasting business, has got to change dramatically. If you are going to survive in this business, you've got to come into 21st century broadcasting. And that imposes severe challenge. Our creativity, the level of creativity, has got to be stepped up several notches. That was a huge takeaway. It's also important that people are beginning now to think not just as a social service. Broadcasting is not just a social service. It's a business enterprise. You have profit and loss. You're running an enterprise and you want funds injection into your enterprise. Government alone cannot do it. It's just not possible. And so if somebody is going to be injecting funds into your enterprise, there are certain business fundamentals that he'll be looking for. How transparent are you? How accountable are you? If I go online, can I find your books? Can I look at what you're doing? Can I be assured that if I injected funds into your enterprise, I can recoup and make some profit for myself? Those things are huge drivers today. Then you put digitization into the whole mix, and you know that it's a whole different ball game completely. You now have, everybody can own a channel, basically. I can stand up tomorrow and say, you know what, I spent 25 years in some industry. You know what? I want to create a channel based on that industry, and I'll get people to fund it. So everybody's becoming a content provider. So basically, the world of television production has changed forever. And folks who are in the business better be ready to live with that change.
I agree with that. I mean, I can see already that even on different other platforms, young people are doing their thing on handhelds, on the internet. People are running television on the internet now. So it gives a huge challenge to television as we know it in the old traditional form. While we're talking content, as it were, where is NTA's position in this content quotient that everybody is talking about? Is NTA ready? Are we in a place where we can describe ourselves as forerunners for content? And why would we think that we are the ones?
Well, you know, we have to go back to history just a little bit. We had great content, classics, epics, that people are still looking for. And I know that we're working on the process of cleaning up those things and putting them back on, because the interest in them is still very strong out there, which means that we need to build on that. Today's producers must stand up. There's huge content around our country, huge. You know, you and I were in a team that went to Uyo not too long ago, and we had a gala event after our meetings. And content was staring us in the face. From a 10-year-old boy who is playing saxophone and brings back the memories of Fela and Nicola Kuti, to 10-year-olds who are beating xylophones and playing drums as, exciting, that other Nigerians would like to see. I bet you there's no part of this country that you go to that you won't find those kinds of things. Just look at AFRICAST. We were there at the dinner the other night, and they brought Atilogu dancers. And I saw expatriates who came to participate in the conference. Their level of excitement shot up tremendously. Therefore, if we went to different parts of this country, we can get great content that the world would like to see. So, for us at NTA, those of us who are in the business of producing content, we have our jobs well cut out for us. If we're going to remain relevant, producers in NTA have a lot of work to do. They need to travel out. They need to bring their creative best every day to sort of package these things. And it's not too difficult to do. Just tell the story of Nigeria to the world from diverse perspectives. So in terms of readiness, I would say that we have folks all around the country. There is no one in this country who has the spread that NTA has. So if we just take advantage of that spread and we go around and get this content, our screens would be so bright, so people would be so happy to watch NTA. Because if you remember, people, when you traveled on Sundays in the evening or whatever days we had Village Headmaster and Kokra Dawn and Magana Jariche and Hotel de Jordan, the streets were empty because people love entertainment. And as I've told you people many times, gist. People like gist. So tell me the gist. That's why these telenovelas are so, is gist. So let's create those opportunities. So in terms of, are we ready? I bet we are ready. If we can drive ourselves to ensure that we know what we're driving at and what we want to accomplish.
You only just returned from a trip in France, Cannes to be specific, where NTA had the opportunity to mingle with the big players in TV content and production and to see what's available around the world from India to China and Canada, and also to pitch what Nigeria has to offer on the platform of NTA. You were there, you watched some of the big players come to explain some of the work that they are doing. That was NTA's first MIPCOM. What was your impression? And going forward, what do you expect that NTA will be doing in presenting itself at MIPCOM, for instance, in 2015?
You know, it was a unique opportunity for us. I can't imagine for the life of me why we had not been there in the past, because that's the single biggest gathering of television and film practitioners. I mean, we saw people like Simon Cowell being honored there. That's a big name in this industry. I think the opportunity it gave us is to say, here is who we are as Nigerian Television Authority. I think we've gotten to the point where we can rub shoulders with the best in the world. And that platform offered us that opportunity. I think that it also gave us the opportunity to sort of talk with content producers, talk with marketers, talk with agents, establish some relationship, because in any business, relationship is key. So that gave us the opportunities. And then it also gave us the opportunity to say to the world, here is who we are. We saw some stands of some countries in MIPCOM, and I've made a promise to myself and to you all that next year when we go, they will know here is Nigerian Television Authority. We can tell the world the kinds of content that we have. We can tell the world about Nigeria. It's an opportunity. We ought to be, in my view, an arm of Nigeria's foreign policy at work. We should be able to use NTA to explain Nigeria's foreign policy to the world. We must take advantage of global platforms like that to talk about our content, to receive content from others, because just as we like the world to know about Nigeria, Nigerians also like to know what's happening in other parts of the world. So it gives us great opportunity. From here on, we're going to be having very, very well done professional stand that people will be interested to come and see what we're doing. It gives us an opportunity to make some content and make some money at the end of the day. If we can sell some of our content, we make money. If we get some great content, we can put it on pay TV. All of those things are evolving, and we must take strong advantage of platforms like that going forward.
Some of the meetings you had while you were there, what were the kind of things people were asking of you? We are interested in acquiring content going forward because we can't do it all alone. But there would have been some meetings where people asked of NTA certain things. What were those things?
Somebody, for instance, wanted to set up what they call a family channel, where you had children's program in the morning. You went on to a section devoted to folks who are at home, women who are taking care of the home front. Then you did you came back, school kids are back home, you did some kids things again, and then you went on to adult in the early evening. So a whole new channel as distinct from what we're doing here. Somebody talked to us about, look, I make documentaries. That's all that I do. And that's one area where we need some help, making documentaries, telling Nigeria's stories, telling different, you and I were talking this morning, foods of Nigeria. We must get away from talking about it from the traditional standpoint and come to today's standpoint. That's what we should be doing, So documentaries are a huge area that we're trying to mine. Somebody says, look, we know about all of these programs that you have. how can we get into a relationship where I can take advantage of the content that you have? Somebody says, look, I'm doing documentaries on world wars. I need some content. Do you have a library of content where we can go? So those things tell, these are the things that people want from us. Are we ready to provide those things? Because if we put ourselves on the global platform, we better be ready to respond otherwise, when they ask you once or twice and you're not able to deliver, I mean, they just write you off pretty quickly. And I don't want to be written off. Absolutely not.
So there were quite a number of robust conversations at MIPCOM.
Absolutely.
Let's return to NTA now, since you took over. I'd like to know where you are headed. Everybody says the DG is the transformation DG for NTA. You were here, you left for a little bit, you're back home. Where are you taking us? It will be a good question to round up this interview with. Where are you taking NTA? Let NTA staff nationwide, some of whom you've met, some of whom you have not met, let them hear you tell them where you want to take them.
See, I want to take NTA, I've said consistently, I'd like to play NTA back into relevance. I'd like to not just say NTA, the biggest and longest reach. I'd like for those words to mean something. I'd like for us to be number one. And we can do these things if our news, first of all, our engineering has to be top notch. Our signals quality has got to be good. Our audio quality has got to be excellent. Everything has got to work well, because if the news people and the programs people do all the best that they can do and the engineering function is not supportive, everything collapses. So our engineering function must be top notch. We ought to be striving to be number one, because if all the television organizations in this country derived their birth from here, there's no reason why they should be beating us hands down at this game. So I want, and it's a question of, harnessing our resources. We have the people, we have the equipment, we have the know-how. It's a question of motivational leadership. It's a question of harnessing all of these strengths and, having a clear set of objectives. I want us to begin to do serious documentaries. I want us to do good programs that people are anxious, because the people who do telenovelas are human beings. They're just telling a story. Let's tell our stories in creative ways. Let's be in sync. Look, I'll give you a small example. Nigeria is talking about mechanized agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture is saying, agriculture is a business. Don't look at it like that old hunchback man just using hoe and cutlass. Agriculture is a business. Look at it as a business. You can make money. All right? So they're building silos. They're doing mechanized agriculture. The currency of conversation in NTA ought to be in line with that. We shouldn't be talking about the old ways of, we must progress, we must shift, we must be in lockstep with the thinking of, that's when we're relevant. If I say I want to play us back into relevance, in all spheres, we must think, what is the currency? What is the tenor of the conversation as of today? What's the tone of the conversation? That's what we should be trying to do. So if NTA is going to be relevant, if they are not going to push you away, that's what you've got to do. Fortunately, we started Good Morning Nigeria. And the world is raving about Good Morning Nigeria, because we suddenly said, look, let's take part in serious conversations when people wake up in the morning before they go to work. Now I get to hear that, oh, my husband just is not going to stand up from his chair to start to get ready until he has finished watching Good Morning Nigeria. I saw Bayo Atobi at AFRICAST. Somebody says, oh, here's the man who makes me go late to work every day. So that's good. It's good to hear those kinds of, because people will react. If one of the best things I know about Nigeria is, if you do something good, they'll tell you. If you do something bad, they'll write you off pretty quickly. So those are my objectives. Make us number one. Make us reachable everywhere, seen everywhere. If our transmitter, if they are operating in the different locations, are radiating at the expected power, their signals will be seen right across where they are. We should do all of that so that wherever you are, because it makes me unhappy when somebody says, I went to visit my mother in the village and we couldn't see NTA. That makes me sad. He says, I can see TV station from across the border, but I can't see my own. That makes me very sad. We must correct all those things so that wherever you are, you should be happy to hear this is Nigerian Television Authority. That's my objective.
You couldn't have put it better, sir. I want to also say that from MIPCOM, Simon Cowell was talking about how to be the perpetual audience. His success is that he is a fan of everything he does. Absolutely. And from the way you speak, sir, it's obvious that you're a fan of everything you watch.
I have passion for this thing. I have a lot of passion for it, and I want that passion to drill down to all of us in NTA.
I want to thank you for making the time to join us on AM Express this morning. You certainly have livened up our screens. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.
It's time now for all of us to go to our Lagos studio where we are having more exciting information for you on AM Express. We want to thank you for joining us in Abuja, where we've been talking to the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Mr. Shola Omole. Back to Lagos now.